Hey guys, Mr. Tuna here. Today we're talking about the new Korg Prologue and the DSI Prophet-6 and how similar they are, yet how different. Prologue is a totally sweet synth. It's got voltage controlled oscillators, 16 voices, a digital wave generator, a multi-engine or whatever we're going to call it there, a low frequency compressor on the 16 voice version like we got here, and it sounds great. It is an excellent sounding synth. I was blown away by this thing after owning synths like the P6 or the OB6. This thing hits above its pay grade when it comes to the raw quality of the sound that you get out of this thing. And that's the one you get when you turn it on. But overall, it's got a real vintage vibe. The oscillators are alive. They go out of tune just as bad as they do on my old mini log. But in that same respect, there's a couple of things missing that somebody might appreciate. I am quite a fan of aftertouch, and that is notably absent. But overall, velocity seems to be something of an afterthought in that respect too. You got to go digging deep into the menu to get anywhere close to affecting it. There are a couple of features specific to the Prologue that somebody might appreciate, and in the voice modes, you've got individual functionality. Dual mode and poly really widens up the sound. Mono gives you a deep sub. Does your atypical detune. And chord mode is chords. A lot of people might be complaining about one LFO, but as an homage to a vintage poly synth, or in its own right an entirely new instrument, it is a very capable synth, and it sounds great. It sounds great. Turn up some multi-engine here and see what's happening. Sounds you could never get with the Prophet-6. Filter's great. We'll turn that down again. Alright, then we got the Prophet-6. The Prophet-6 was always my dream synth, and when the Prologue came out, I turned my nose up at it because it couldn't possibly hold a candle to the King of Kings, or the King of Synths, or the Prince of Synths. I'm not entirely sure what we'd call it because maybe the Jupiter 8 is the King of Synths. In any case, it is my baby, and it's something that I really covet and would blindly defend without honor or justice. So, that being said, it's a little harsh. So the Prophet-6 has aftertouch. Love it. So expressive. Prologue, nothing. That's alright. It's a fine synth. It's got like literally 4 times the voices. Or some like strange fraction in there. You get a high pass filter with the Prophet-6. Prologue, you kind of get a little switch, and it works, but you don't get to do anything neat like... One, two, three, four. 4 octaves on the Sequential Prophet-6. Kind of a bummer. But the keys, they're nicer to play. I think they are much nicer to play. In my experience, they are the finest keys in all of the synths, and they better be. I like them better than the Prophet-12, I like them better than the Sub-37, I like them better than the Prologue, but the Prologues aren't bad keys. They are fine to play, they are fast, they're wicked fast, and they're sharp. We go over to the Prologue here. Look at those edges. Those are some sharp keys. And they look good. But your mod wheel's up there. And that's like bugging. That ain't doing anybody any good. You do get the neat oscilloscope on there though, and the oscilloscope was like the whole cool thing about the Mini-Log that I really loved. I mean, look at that cool thing. Alright, it's a little slow. I think the one on the monologue is actually faster. But with the P6, it's all a feeling. It's all something you brew and design. I love that there's no screen. I love working with the knobs. I just love this synth. And I love that beautiful walnut finish. So... a lot of vintage poly synths that either of these two might try to emulate, or people might try to emulate with them, never had the complexity of some more modern designs, like that totally fine Prophet-12. And I bought that thing so I could get deep and go dark into the void of the scary ass mod matrix, which is delightfully approachable, I might add. But the simplicity of something like a Prophet-6, or the simplicity of the modulation in something like the Prologue, is in its own right a beautiful thing. And that simplicity is what really lends to the pureness of its sound, or in the sense of the Prophet-6, the pureness of its sex. But you're asking me, what about the filters? How different are the filters? The filters are very different. stepping. You get that stepping. If you want to avoid that stepping, you can get a cool pedal. But with the Prologue, you don't worry about it. We'll go to an initialized patch. Oh, it sounds so different. Alright, now we're just making patches. You get some cool waves with the Prologue. Some atypical waves. There's saw, there's triangle, there's square. On wave 2, you get saw, you get triangle, you get square. And then you get that neat one with the user waves, which God only knows what's going to be in there. Like, I have no idea what's in user waves. Something. The VPNs? Those are kind of neat. I haven't looked through them all. Kind of cool. But over on the P6, you get a different set of waves. Let's go look at some waves. This is hard. Alright. You get some continuously variable waves, and those waves, they get all variant on you. So check out these variations. Oh, let's turn it back. Oh, look at, there's like infinite waves in there. If I had an oscilloscope like you have on the Prologue, if there was an audio input like there is on the mini-log on the Prologue, there is not, we'd be able to see some waves and maybe compare them in some amateurish like video thing. But we're not going to do that because it was just a wave idea that I had, and we're going to move on. So, back to waves. You get a lot of them in there. And you get the same waves. You get triangle. You get saw, you get square, or a pulse wave. And all those waves are so much fun to screw around with. On the Prologue, you gotta flick through those waves. I guess we'll make a new patch. Swish. Or flick. I don't know. So other than that, you'll probably buy the one you like best, or the one you think looks prettier. And in that respect, be careful about putting fingerprints on your Prologue, because they're all over the place. The second you look at that thing, you've got fingerprints all over it, and it's driving me insane. So that may be something to keep in mind, but fingerprints do not make it sound any worse, just make it look terrible.